Hey Pisces, this is Madeline. We're going to take a look at the month of July 2025 for you. It's going to be a very interesting month because we're going to have Saturn going retrograde. We're going to have Uranus going into the house of Gemini, into the sign of Gemini. So we'll see where that is for you. What other major transits? I've got my notes here. We have a big Capricorn full moon. I think that's over your fifth, but I'm going to make sure. Then we've got a big conjunction of Mars conjoining the South Node, which, if it's hitting your chart in a way that isn't good, it could be a hard transit. But if it's hitting your chart in a nice way, and of course it depends on your own individual chart, it can be kind of a breakthrough energy. It'll be a breakthrough energy no matter what, but if it's a square, it might be a little tougher of an experience. So, and of course, you can feel free to contact me. My email is below if you would like a free reading, and please give this video a like if you like it. Hopefully you do. All right, Pisces, let's take a look at your chart. Um, what we're doing is we're putting the ascendant on Pisces. So I go to hours. Oh, here we are in hours, and then I shall shift it to Pisces here. There we go. So the month is going to begin with a very strong conjunction of Venus Uranus, where we're seeing a big surprise happening in the, shall we say, area of love, romance, finances, and good things. It's a nice transit. I'll get the chart to it right here. Here we are at the beginning of July, and we're going to talk a little bit about your planet Jupiter that rules you, and Neptune, because there's a lot going on for Pisces in that department. Big year for Pisces. Your ruling planet Neptune and your other ruling planet Jupiter is in its exaltation. So it's going to be an interesting year. And look, here we go. There's Venus Uranus conjunction. It exacts on the 4th or 5th. 4th of July is the exact conjunction, and it makes a really favorable aspect to your second house. To Saturn there, and your ruling planet Neptune. And then it goes into Pluto into your 12th in the sign of Uranus. And most Pisces that I know are musicians. There's Cancer. Oh, look. So look, there's your ruling planet Jupiter in the fifth house. It's in combustion and has been squaring Saturn all the end of the month. So you haven't seen some sort of creative project go through. Or that can also be having children, getting pregnant, very fertile time for Pisces women and men too. I mean, it's in a man's chart too. Um, so we're really looking at a surprise news. We're going to look at this first transit here where we get this sort of surprise good news about a business, about a social media, about something that you have been working on, selling, or, basically it could be romantic information from a romantic relationship, but somehow the sextile creates somehow this transit creates a sextile to the Saturn in your second, which is going to bring good money, a good new start, and that can often be a creative project. You've got Neptune there. Believe me, it's most likely creative. I have Neptune right now in my 10th house, and look what I've been doing. I've been making all these, I've been feeling very creative. So this is a very creative transit for you guys. Or you're making things, if you have planets here in your second house, you have skills and you're making things, sculptural jewelry. I know I just read for someone, she does jewelry. So there's these new beginnings here happening that can really sustain your abundance for a long time. And you want to make sure it's what you really love to do. That's going to be blessed, and it's your dharma. Jupiter rule people. Jupiter is the planet of dharma, which is what we're here for, which is to serve humanity, fix the world, and make life better for people in some way. And most likely through the arts and your creative geniuses that you are, Pisces, you're connected to the higher realm. You're hearing the angels sings. You can hear the music in the ethers, That's what water is. It's really receptive. So it hears really faint things, the light breeze. It feels it. You can see the wind is blowing when you look at the water. All right. So what else can we talk about here for so soon as that sun comes out of combustion, which some people say is 6 degrees. So let's go with that. So four, so so let's go to right now. So when is your planet out of combustion? So let's go. We're right now we're at 4 degrees. So really 6 degrees, some people think July, you're looking at you're pulling out. Some astrologers tell me that it's always 6 degrees, the combustion. And out of combustion, you can start to see the combustion fades. But full combustion is, I think, like 14 degrees or something, but I don't have that list in front of me. So anyway, so we're getting way out of combustion here at the beginning of the month. So your ruling planet, you're out of the square to Saturn. So you're really starting to see things go forward. You're going to have so yes, so that we've got that beautiful thing happening at the beginning of the month there with Venus, Uranus. Good news. I lost the Pisces on the ascendant here. Let me get back to Pisces on the ascendant. So you got this some kind of good news coming in about a creative project that could possibly be relationship connected or just financially and artistic opportunity opening up for you because we just had that new moon for you in the fifth house where you're starting a new family, you're meeting new friends, but also Jupiter in exaltation there for the whole year is going to bring creative projects, performing, what else? Children, having children, teaching if you're a school teacher, if that's what's the rest of your chart. But mostly that I find when I do readings for Pisces, they are creative artists, musicians, dancers, they're almost always musicians. They almost always have Sagittarius in their chart and then some Capricorn. So anyway, it's not 100%, but it tends to lean that way. And often when I read for someone who's Pisces and they're doing a different job and I say, you're a musician, they go, I knew it. Anyway, all right. So Neptune also being your ruling planet in the second house is going to be next to Saturn. It's going to go retrograde with Saturn as Saturn goes retrograde, which, by the way, this is why it's most likely these new auspicious beginnings that are starting for Pisces are coming from people from the past as Saturn goes retrograde, or creative project from the past, or something you efforted and worked very hard on in the past, a relationship from the past. Um, and that's going to stay retrograde, and then it's going to go back into your first house where it's been a bit tough, but you're going to go back and rework something because it is part of your destiny. Because Saturn seems to want, and Neptune seems to want to go back over this part of everybody's charts like 3 times, like grinding over this early degrees of Aries and end degrees of, Pisces, which is the most like karmic knotted experiences of turbulence. And then we go into these new beginnings, but now we're going back over that again. So there's something we have to go back and redo. And it's most likely that we skipped what it is we're really here to do. We're being slowed down. That's why they had that square, because now on this, shall we say, retrogradation of Saturn, we're going to get into the right aligned project. I'll just turn something off here. So yeah, so really you're being adjusted here to the right projects, the right creative ventures that are going to bring you the abundance and the sustenance and stability that Saturn wants to bring you in your finances here for the next 29 to 30 years or more, you know, but at least that because it involves Saturn. So it does involve, maturity, growing up. And by the way, I'm doing Pisces first. Did you notice I did Aries and then I said, I'm going to do Pisces because they always wait. So I'm going to do them next. So you got bumped up this time. So yeah, so you're going to be really, that's hard work. Saturn there in your second house, earning money, working hard at something that is going to be structurally very productive. So this hard work is not in vain. It's taking you to a really strong future. And you may really enjoy it. I personally don't mind hard work. If you've got planets in Capricorn, you enjoy it. Second house is an earth house. You don't mind working that hard. You see movement. It's Mars, Taurus, it's there's a lot of progress being made. Maybe in ways you have to be more disciplined and more showing up in hard worky ways that you haven't done so. But also you're taking initiatives as it's in Aries before. Pisces aren't the most disciplined. They're a little out in the ethers. I have a Pisces moon. I relate. All right, so let's see what else. You've got Mercury going into Mercury on the 17th. Saturn retrograde, we talked about Mercury on the 17th. Let's go there. Well, there's your Saturn retrograde. Where Saturn goes retrograde? Right here. Oh, oh, I'm on hours. Sorry, guys. Saturn's going to go retrograde here on the 13th. So there it is, Saturn retrograde. And then we're going to go to the 20th and see the Mercury going. Oh, sorry, 17th, 17th. Mercury's going to go retrograde here too, right there. And it's happening in Leo in your 11th house. Oh, well, actually, sorry, I take that back. I gotta get to Pisces. Which way do I go? Is the quickest way to Pisces? This way is the quickest way to Pisces. So yeah, so there we have the Leo in your fifth house. So there is a creative projects. A lot of Pisces have planets in the fifth house, which reveals to me that they're musicians because your fifth house is what you do on a day-to-day of practice, it very disciplined, detailed, precise movements. Leo over that creative expression over discipline. If you have planets there, there's a good chance, you're playing an instrument or even it could be voice, Mercury voice, right? But that voice is an instrument. So anyway, this looks really great for Pisces. This is a wonderful creative. You're going to get universally supported to take on big creative self-expression projects that really bless your finances. I think this is a great month for Pisces. Now we have that south node and it's in your seventh house. So there is either a letting go of an old relationship because that Mercury retrograde in the project that does involve the relationship that you're supposed to be in for this new chapter. It may shake up a current relationship. There could be just simply conflict in the relationship, and you could be having to learn how to release operating in conflict in relationships. But anyway, this is a point of trigger of challenge. But like for me, it's a really positive angle on my seventh house. So it can actually be that you let go of the barriers that are preventing you from being in a relationship, or you let go of a relationship that you really need to let go of. If you're in the right relationship, it will stay, but it will transform and you will let go of some sort of attachment perhaps, or allowing them to be critical of you and not sticking up for yourself. Something will shift here, and it can be a challenging spot. So that's on the 20th. But then after that, Mars is going to leave that south node, north node block. All the planets are like on one side of the nodes. So that's going to get broken. And usually that can really stall things and can be kind of well, we've got so many things in the astrology that show blocks anyways, with the Saturn squaring Jupiter and Jupiter in combustion. So, it's part of that. But now we're really out of that. Even though Saturn and Mercury are in retrograde, we're putting energy into projects and relationships from the past that are part of our dharmic new destiny. And then Mars is out of that. I forget what you call it, a karma sartra, something in Vedic. Anyway, you're out of this blocked section. Things are unblocked. Jupiter, your ruling planet, is out of combustion, out of the block. Neptune is in retrograde, which, by the way, brings clarity to people. Uranus is going to move. Then Uranus is going to move into the sign of Gemini. That's happening on the 7th. I backtrack. Whoops. So on the 7th, Uranus is going to go into the sign of Gemini, which is your fourth house. So you could up and move because of something connected to this. It's going to square um, that house. So there's a possible sudden moving because of a relationship ending, or you suddenly change the status of your relationship, you get married and you guys move together, or you guys find a really great new place to live together. I don't want to be negative about it, but if you're in the wrong relationship, it would crash in these conditions for sure. But Uranus is going to really bring you a lot of liberation through real estate, property, buying, working at home, writing at home, uh, inventive projects about real estate, and like for instance coming up with um, EMF barriers and clothing that protects you, and homes and houses that have walls now that don't let the Wi-Fi in from other Wi-Fi, that kind of a thing. We're going to see a lot of that happen in this time, that in these next 8 years we're going to be protecting ourselves from the EMFs more. So this is, home, a big change, and all of a sudden things, your life changes very much in living situations. Also, it can mean you move a lot because all, well, Uranus is like sudden changes back and forth, shifting. Your family suddenly changes. You have a child that can really suddenly change your family situation. You get into your true divine partnership or your true long-term related connection here, and you start a family and have babies. And then you really start a very serious approach to your finances because it's in Saturn in your second. But you do go back to something that is your dharma, which is connected. You aren't just doing a jobby job to support the family. You're really stepping into your dharmic creative because your ruling planet is in the creative house, giving you a lot of blessings in creative pursuits. So we have that. What else should I talk about here? The sun will go into the fifth house this month, which again brings you joy, fun. Jupiter there is going to bring you a lot of fun and partying, a lot of new friends, a lot of socializing. And these friends do bring you auspicious money. And I don't mean like friends for money, but anything that Jupiter is involved with is going to expand our abundance and our finances. And with Saturn there, these are new, stable financial beginnings. We just had a new moon there. So creative projects that do bring you, with Jupiter there blessing it, bringing you long-term stability in creative projects with friends that you're meeting at this time that are definitely a part of your long-term destined, abundant, dharmic path. So that's about it. Venus does go into Cancer. We do have this, oh yeah, I didn't talk about the moons. We have a full moon in Capricorn, which is your third house. So that can be, again, a relocation type of a transit, but also clarity on some sort of a culmination of an effort in writing projects, creative media projects, or again, because you're moving, it's the end of that era that you're in this environment, like you may move, but you become very clear also on some sort of social media thing could work out more, or you a website is launched, or you stop and you end one website, and in the next another new moon you realize something's really, you want to completely change something because a lot of changes are happening because you have this new beginning in your second house. You may completely want to change your media, your social media. So then we also have this new moon in Leo in that new beginning, and it's in a work house, and it is a new beginning in, now for most people I would consider it a health new routine, but it can just be because of these new financial beginnings and that new moon in the creative project. You're showing up in a studio or in some sort of creative collaborative every day. Now your daily routine completely changes, and it's every day, and it's changes your routine, and it's kind of hard work, but it's your creative passion and it's your dharma, and it's what all Jupiter people are here to do, is to live their dharma. So I would say that this is a big month for Pisces where you get to step in and be in alignment and watch the new beginnings of your new big chapter where you're really living your dream and your dharma. How great is that? Thanks for watching. Namaste.